YouTube play buttons are awarded to creators for hitting impressive milestones, and they're one of the most iconic parts of the YouTube platform. So today I'm going to show you 10 official YouTube awards that I'm almost certain you've never seen before, and the unexpectedly relevant stories behind them. Our story starts in 2012, with a special exclusive event hosted by YouTube. They were launching a self-proclaimed advertisement leaderboard for their platform. To figure out why, we have to understand why creators receive play buttons in the first place. At first it seems simple. YouTube states their intentions at the end of the included letter. Congratulations. But it's not just that. There's a reason why they send the award and not just letter. Consider this scenario. YouTube has an equally successful competitor called MeTube, which is identical to YouTube's save one attribute: no subscriber milestone plaques. Would you rather have your room look like this, or like this? Anytime you're in your room, you're reminded of your platform on YouTube, and if others visit, they'll immediately understand your success and be more likely to create content on YouTube rather than MeTube, even if it's only subconsciously. And so, the same year that YouTube launched the gold play button for creators, they created the YouTube Ads Leaderboard for advertisers to encourage more to come to the platform. But a position on the leaderboard is not tangible to companies. It is fluid and not as impressive as a physical object you can put on a shelf. So they created one. The clear, image-backed logo and triangular case are really clean, with the campaign impressions being displayed on the inside cover of the case. Winning ad campaigns also received custom frames of words forming a related image, similar to the Dan TDM award you may have seen before. These awards worked, with YouTube pulling in nearly $1.5 billion more in advertising revenue in 2013 as it did in the previous year. With the success, YouTube started a long tradition of giving away awards to the creators of advertisements, which often included actual YouTubers as well. These events seem to have been running parallel to the consumer YouTube sphere. I don't know about you, but I'd never heard of them before. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into these awards that have fallen under the radar, and the interesting and important story they tell about the insider side of YouTube. 1.6 billion people celebrate Ramadan every single year, and for a growing ad agency in Kuwait, that means profits. They're working on a campaign to drive new users to a large telecom company, and it's going perfectly. Meanwhile, 500 miles away, a Google executive is spearheading a new project to incentivize advertisers. The executive was Alex Brunori, head of creative agencies at Google MENA, and he was trying to create something revolutionary. In the US, a 30-second ad cost $5 million during the Super Bowl. We now have the opportunity in MENA to make Ramadan our very own digital Super Bowl. This is a very ambitious and intelligent task because of current Ramadan ad culture. TV ad rates can as much as double with families staying up late and watching TV after breaking their fast. The ads themselves change significantly as well, with public service ads being 4 times more common, as well as many of the actors wearing more traditional, conservative clothing such as veils. As television advertising is more expensive during Ramadan, I'm sure the price also rises on online platforms. So there was a huge opportunity for Google here. Everything was set up perfectly. Somebody just had to organize things, emulate the dynamic of people watching the Super Bowl for the ads, maybe just a little less extreme. And that somebody was Alex Brunori, and he was ready to take it on through the lens of YouTube. Ramadan ads were already getting tens of millions of views on the platform, so it only made sense to focus their efforts there. This effort soon became a reality in the Lantern Award, celebrating the region's most engaging and creative Ramadan advertisements. Back to Kuwait, the ad agency Caviar Creative completed their ad campaign, naming it "Where's My Bowl?" It was an immediate hit, with many even searching it up after seeing it as an ad. And so, as you may have guessed, they received the first ever Lantern Award. The engagement metrics for this campaign are just incredible, said Brunori. It had one of the highest rates of organic views. There's a reason I told you about Caviar Creative's story. It shows the award's impact. Even 6 years after receiving it and winning multiple other awards, the Lantern Award is still the first listed on their website, and they have made campaigns for Mercedes and McDonald's since. Google had the power to choose any ad agency and thrust them to the top. However, this seems to be in conflict with the impact of advertising awards up until this point. In 1995 and 2006, Studies were published examining the relationship between advertising awards and advertising agency success. In 1995, researchers found no effect, but in 2006, another group found that there was a measurable negative correlation, showing a 2% decrease in revenue and billing after receiving the award. That's really strange. This means that either Caviar Creative success is a fluke, or Google did something really special that changed the game. I can't tell you which is true, only that Google seems to know, contending this award nearly every Ramadan since. YouTube is scrambling to resolve an issue the community has dubbed
the Adpocalypse.
Their biggest creator, PewDiePie, has just been called out for jokes deemed anti-Semitic, and advertisers are starting to figure out how edgy content on 2017 YouTube really is, and pulling their ads from the platform. The YouTube adpocalypse plunged the platform into a state of uncertainty, with most creators' livelihood put in limbo, with their videos earning little money, many trying frantically to PG-ify their content. Advertisements were the glue that held YouTube together, and YouTube had let the platform's content get too advertiser-unfriendly. If they didn't do something immediately, they would lose their top creators and all of their revenue. So they obviously responded quickly. However, what we are focusing on is only one part of the response: the awards they awarded. YouTube wanted to butter advertisers up, make them feel like YouTube was still an exciting, current, brand-friendly platform. And how better to do that than new and exciting awards? But there's just one problem. Creating unique and exciting awards takes time, and that was something YouTube couldn't spare any of. So they tried something new, well, sort of new, and outsourced from independent or smaller sources, like Manganta and Creative Awards London, rather than Society Awards, who had a long-term relationship making their creator play buttons. However, even after outsourcing, it still wouldn't be fast enough to make exciting custom awards. So they quickly rushed together an award while waiting for their contracted ones, and presented it at the YouTube Ads Leaderboard that year as the best debut ad and top creator brand collaboration. It's pretty much a cheap-looking, small version of the diamond play button, but it served its purpose. This shows that the idea of the award may be more powerful than the quality of the actual physical object. Finally, we've reached the current generation of YouTube advertising awards, dubbed YouTube Works, or YouTube Ad Awards, or YouTube Polls. It took a few years for YouTube to globally decide on one name. But with this new generation of awards, YouTube went all out, making no less than 4 new awards, all with multiple versions of each. It seems that YouTube was scared by the adpocalypse, I don't blame them in the slightest, and decided to build back a stronger award system. Looking at these newly introduced awards paints a fuller picture of YouTube's plan and helps us understand why they work, so let's do that. First, we have the Crystal Award, reminiscent of the very first YouTube Ads Leaderboard award. It seems to have modernized in the same way that the gold play button did. This was the most highly coveted award of the events it was at. Interestingly, it was given to multiple teams. It wasn't a first place position sort of thing. Next up, we have these YouTube slates, with silver and bronze versions. These slates are more of runner-up awards, but you can tell YouTube still put a lot of effort into them for a reason. The third new award isn't quite in the new generation, but it was given at the same time. It was actually one of the awards that they commissioned from independent studios, this one from Creative Awards UK. It's a resin pillar with a really clean topographical YouTube logo that seems to have been used for a few different awards. And finally, we have what I can only call the YouTube Works Award. There seems to be 2 versions, Ruby and Grand Prix. The Ruby Award uses a similar brushed metal texture as the silver play button, and the protruding red triangles are an instantly iconic spin on the creator play buttons, and this award has been the most common in the last few years. The Grand Prix version is entirely gold, with the same brushed metal texture. I think these awards are pretty cool. Maybe that's because I'm a total YouTube nerd, but let's try and understand the reasons why these work for YouTube, and therefore why they make them. First, an agency winning an award based on creativity can inspire employees to be more creative. If you feel that you're making award-winning advertisements, it is likely that you'll both feel more useful and try and keep up the high-quality work going forward. Employee fulfillment is a good thing for employees and their employers, and that's something YouTube seems to have realized. Secondly, receiving awards can increase an agency's prestige in the industry, possibly becoming a well-known brand. This in turn can mean higher pay per campaign, and that alone is a great incentive to win these awards. Likewise, awards also allow agencies to promote themselves to potential clients, with usually a much bigger reach than before, with the award working as a sort of amplifier. This could get them more, bigger, and more exciting clients, with bigger budgets to boot. All of the reasons above are great reasons to aspire to win advertising awards, but I honestly think the strongest factor YouTube was going for hasn't been mentioned yet: jealousy. We have to go back into context for this one: the adpocalypse. Who was YouTube giving awards to during the adpocalypse? Xiaomi and Guvoid, both companies that did not pull their ads off the platform, unlike most other big companies. This would inevitably make the companies that left feel jealous. Anyone would want an award from a company as large as Google. This might make them contemplate if it was the right decision to leave, and if not that, subconsciously plant the idea in their minds that advertisers on YouTube are rewarded, while those off the platform are not. That would be very much in the interest of YouTube, and we can only assume that that may have been an intention after the adpocalypse. These awards may have saved YouTube. We have no way of knowing for sure, of course, but it's possible that the removal of this factor in their growth could have toppled YouTube as we know it now. Seeing the importance of these awards really helps us understand the importance of advertisers on the platform, on pretty much all platforms, and how they can be manipulated too. People often think of advertisers as big bad companies, but I also want to take a moment to appreciate the artists at advertising agencies who work hard at their jobs. They seem to be often forgotten. I have some quick updates too. YouTube is still making new and exciting awards for advertisers. I mean, look at this 2020 version, that is beautiful, I want that. Also, since making this video, Alex Brunori has alerted me that Google Mina has, quote, deprecated the Lantern Award. This is interesting information, do with it what you want. Thank you so much for watching, you guys just make my day. Shout out to my members, this content would not be possible without you. Thank you so much for watching.